simply by touching the holy dust of the lotus feet of a holy man. In the Bhagavatam, it is said, Mahatpadar Rajobhishekam, which means to be blessed by the holy dust of the lotus feet of a Mahat, a great devotee. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanas too, those who are great souls, are under the spell of spiritual energy. Mahatmanas tu mam partha, daivim prakritim ashita. And their symptom is that they fully engage in Krishna consciousness for the service of the Lord. Therefore, they are called Mahat. Unless one is fortunate enough to have the dust of the lotus feet of a Mahatma on one's head, there is no possibility of perfection in spiritual life. The parampara system of disciplic succession is very important as a means of spiritual success. One becomes a Mahat by the grace of his Mahat spiritual master. If one takes shelter of the lotus feet of a great soul, there is every possibility of one's also becoming a great soul. When Maharaj Rahugana asked Jadavdhara about this wonderful achievement of spiritual success, he replied to the king that spiritual success is not possible simply by following the rituals of religion, or simply by converting oneself into a sannyasi, or offering sacrifices as recommended in the scriptures. These methods are undoubtedly helpful for spiritual realization, but the real effect is brought about by the spiritual master. No, brought about by the grace of a Mahatma. In Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's 8 stanzas of prayer to the spiritual master, it is clearly stated that simply by satisfying the spiritual master, one can achieve the supreme success in life. And in spite of executing all ritualistic performances, if one cannot satisfy the spiritual master, one has no access to spiritual perfection. Here, the word akritatmanam is very significant. Akritatmanam. Akrita atmanam. Those who have not controlled the mind and senses. You cannot easily be seen by persons who have not subdued the mind or controlled the senses. Atma means body, soul, or mind, and Akritatma means the common man who cannot control the senses or the mind. Because the common man is unable to control the senses and the mind, it is his duty to seek the shelter of a great soul or a great devotee of the Lord and just try to please him. That will make his life perfect. Common man cannot rise to the topmost stage of spiritual perfection simply by following the rituals and religious principles. He has to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and work under his direction faithfully and sincerely. Then he becomes perfect without a doubt. 7. दिष्ट्या त्वयानुशिष्टोऽहं कृतश्चानुग्रहो महान् अपावृतैः कर्णरन्ध्रैर्जुष्टा दिष्ट्योषतीर्गिरः. 2 times the word dishtya comes. Luckily or by good fortune, I have fortunately been instructed by you, and thus great favor has been bestowed upon me. I thank God that I have listened with open ears to your pure words. Okay, there's a question. What is this question?
Prabhu, so in the previous verse, it is mentioning that so we should have the dust of a Mahatma. So that means we should take the dust of Mahatmas and apply on head.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is no possibility of perfection.
Otherwise, there is no possibility of perfection. Yes. That also means one should carry out his instructions without duplicity and diplomacy.
So along with the instructions, one should also take the dust of the Mahatma.
Yes.
Oh, both we should.
Yes.
So that can be a spiritual master also, or else we have to find such type of Mahatma.
It has to be a Mahatma, whether he is one's own spiritual master or not.
Okay. Okay.
Yatir Ushatyah. I have listened with open ears to your pure words. Srila Rupa Goswami has given instructions in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu on how to accept a bona fide spiritual master and how to deal with it. First, the desiring candidate must find the bona fide spiritual master, and then he must very eagerly receive instructions from him and execute them. This is a reciprocal service. A bona fide spiritual master or saintly person always desires to elevate a common man who comes to him, because everyone is under the delusion of Maya and is forgetful of his prime duty, Krishna consciousness. A saintly person always desires that everyone become a saintly person. It is a function of a saintly person to invoke Krishna consciousness in every forgetful common man. Manu said that since he was advised and instructed by Kardama Muni, he was very much favored. He considered himself lucky to receive the message by oral reception. It is especially mentioned here that one should be very inquisitive to hear with the open ears from the authorized source of the bona fide spiritual master. How is one to receive? One should receive the transcendental message by oral reception. Oral reception. These are all very interesting expressions. Receive through the ears. This concept is coming from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Of course, it's coming from Parampara and ultimately from Shastra. But this way of presentation, this is coming from him. One should receive the transcendental message by oral reception. That means one should, without duplicity, diplomacy, and with eagerness, one should hear Krishna's message coming through the parampara. The word karna randhraihi means through the holes of the ears. The favor of the spiritual master is not received through any other part of the body but the ears. This does not mean, however, that the spiritual master gives a particular type of mantra through the ears in exchange for some dollars, and if the man meditates on that, he achieves perfection, becomes God within 6 months. Such reception through the ears is bogus. The real fact is that a bona fide spiritual master knows the nature of a particular man and what sort of duties he can perform in Krishna consciousness, and he instructs him in that way. He instructs him through the ear, not privately but publicly. Notice this? He instructs him through the ear, not privately but publicly. You are fit for such and such work in Krishna consciousness, you can act in this way. One person is advised to act in Krishna consciousness by working in the deity's room. Another is advised to act in Krishna consciousness by performing editorial work. Another is advised to do preaching work. And another is advised to carry out Krishna consciousness in the cooking department. There are different departments of activity in Krishna consciousness. And a spiritual master, knowing the particular ability of a particular man, trains him in such a way that by his tendency to act, he becomes perfect. Bhagavad Gita makes it clear that one can attain the highest perfection of spiritual life simply by offering service according to his ability, just as Arjuna served Krishna by his ability in the military art. Arjuna offered his service fully as a military man and he became perfect. Similarly, an artist can attain perfection simply by performing artistic work under the direction of the spiritual master. If one is a literary man, he can write articles and poetry for the service of the Lord under the direction of the spiritual master. One has to receive the message of the spiritual master regarding how to act in one's capacity, for the spiritual master is expert in giving such instructions. Yes.
Here it is said the spiritual master uh, guides according to his nature. What sort of duties he can perform in Krishna consciousness?
The disciple's particular ability.
Yeah, in my case, that I cannot directly meet my spiritual master and he does not know my nature to guide me.
One can have many spiritual masters. One can have only one initiating spiritual master, but one can have many instructing spiritual masters.
So that can be any Siksha Guru also, that means.
Yeah, of course. This combination, the instruction of the spiritual master and the faithful execution of the instruction by the disciple, makes the entire process perfect. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur describes in his explanation of the verse in Bhagavad Gita Vyavasayatmika buddhi, that one who wants to be certain to achieve spiritual success must take the instruction from the spiritual master as to what his particular function is. He should faithfully try to execute that particular instruction and should consider that his life and soul. The faithful execution of the instruction which he receives from the spiritual master is the only duty of a disciple, and that will bring him perfection. One should be very careful to receive the message from the spiritual master through the years and execute it faithfully. That will make one's life successful. स भवान् दुहृतिः स्नेहः परिक्लिष्टात्मनो मम श्रोतुमर्हसि दीनस्य श्रावितं कृपया मुने. O great sage, graciously be pleased to listen to the prayer of my humble self, for my mind is troubled by affection for my daughter. एवं च त्वद्दर्शनात् मे सर्वे क्लेशाः गताः एव. In this way, simply by meeting you, all of my distresses, my personal distresses, have certainly gone away. Kintu, but एक क्लेशः तु दुर्वारः हृदि वर्तते एव. There is one unavoidable distress that remains in my heart. Tam api tatkritaya datta ashvasaha vigatabhihi eva udghatayami ityaha. Now that also by, it must be tvatkripaya, by your mercy, I can become pacified. I can become free from all distresses. And being in such a pacified condition and without distress, I will now reveal that to you. Saprasiddha Kripasindhu Ityarthaha. You are well known as an ocean of mercy. Pariklishtaha iti eshah kleshah me vivekena api na apayati iti bhava. My mind is agitated. This is an implication that even using my discrimination, this distress is not going away from me. O great sage, graciously be pleased to listen to the prayer of my humble self, for my mind is troubled by affection for my daughter. When a disciple is perfectly in consonance with the spiritual master, having received this message and executed it perfectly and sincerely, he has a right to ask a particular favor from the spiritual master. I'll read it again. When a disciple is perfectly in consonance with the spiritual master, having received this message and executed it perfectly and sincerely, he has a right to ask a particular favor from the spiritual master. Generally, a pure devotee of the Lord or a pure disciple of a bona fide spiritual master does not ask any favor either from the Lord or the spiritual master. But even if there is a need to ask a favor from the spiritual master, one cannot ask that favor without satisfying him fully. Swayambhu Manu wanted to disclose his mind regarding the function he wanted to execute due to affection for this daughter. Sometimes, okay, there's a question here. Sometimes I would be in bewilderment to whom to follow, what instructions to follow. I don't understand what to do in such conditions. It's just like how do we select a doctor? How do we select a doctor? If the doctor's instructions, when applied with 100% compliance, does not lead to appropriate result, or when the doctor's own instructions is uh, verifiably inappropriate, then we are not enthusiastic to follow him. Then we search for another doctor. So like that, same principle should be applied. Also, sometimes I also saw those whom I, what is this? Also, I saw those
By
whom I
accepted as a spiritual master, he is not competent, then it becomes a problem.
does it become a problem? Does it become a big problem? So the question is, uh, if some if if I accept someone as my spiritual master, but he's not competent, then does it become a big problem? Yes, of course, it becomes a very big problem.
No, I am saying, bro, already that it becomes a big problem.
So then why did you put a question mark there?
So what to do in such conditions?
What to do under such conditions? Then one should seek appropriate guidance from somebody who's competent. Again, it becomes very difficult to find another one. Yes, it is always difficult to find a competent guide. That's true. Then what to do in such conditions? Go find. That is not only for you, that is for you, me, everybody. Okay. 9. Priyavratottan pado swaseyam dukita mama anvichati patim yuktam vayashila gunadibhi. My daughter is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada. She is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, and good qualities. Priyavratottana swaseti putrika karanashankha nirasta. So he has a daughter. It's not that he does not. Uh, it's not that he was devoid of a daughter, and through adoption uh, or through some other or that, let's say, sometimes there are situations where one has no sons, okay, and then he only has a daughter. So then that daughter can be given in marriage to someone on a condition that the son born to that daughter will be adopted by the father of the girl. This is called putrika karana. It is a procedure. It is an option. So here, Priyavrata Uttana Pado Swasa. Here is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada. From this, it is understood that he is not in anxiety that he does not have any son. He has got two sons. He's got two sons. Mama Duhita iti Kshatriya Kanya Tava Yogya Eva iti Bhavaha. Duhita Mama. She is my daughter. She needs a husband who is well suited by age, character, good qualities, etc. So now my daughter indicates that certainly she is fit for you because she is the daughter of a Kshatriya. A Brahmana can marry a Brahmana man can marry a Brahmana woman or a Kshatriya woman or a Vaishya woman or a Shudra woman. But of course, his first preference would be naturally a Brahmana girl. But a Kshatriya girl is also acceptable. It's only reason why it is difficult is because generally the girl will find it extremely painful to come up to the standard of Vairagya of the husband. Since the Varnas are also graded according to that, therefore the consideration is there. But otherwise, she is of course Manu's daughter, apart from just being a Kshatriya girl. So she would be capable of coming up. The grown-up daughter of Swayambhu Manu, Devahuti, had good character and was well qualified. Therefore, she was searching for a suitable husband just befitting her age, qualities, and character. The purpose of Manu's introducing his daughter as a sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada, two great kings, was to convince the sage that the girl came from a great family. She was his daughter, and at the same time, the sister of Kshatriyas. She did not come from a lower class family. For marriages, childhood experience and all that matters. Marriage is a material activity. It's not a spiritual activity. You can spiritualize it, but by itself, it is a material activity. So therefore, there are material rules and regulations prescriptions and prohibitions in the Vedic scriptures for all that. Manu therefore offered her to Kardama as just suitable for his purpose. It is clear that although the daughter was mature in age and qualities, she did not go out and find her husband independently. She expressed her desire for a suitable husband corresponding to her character, age, and quality. And the father himself, out of affection for his daughter, took charge of finding such a husband. Question. Yes.
Prabhu, why exactly it's not advised for a lower varna man to marry a higher varna girl?
Then the girl, then he has to listen to the wife. His ego will be hurt.
Okay. So they'll be having superiority complex, the higher varnas.
No, it's a simple thing because you're all of the path of spiritual life is increasing Vairagya Vidya Bhakti. So since one has been brought up in, if the girl has been brought up to a higher standard of Vairagya Vidya Bhakti, and the man is in a lower standard of Vairagya Vidya Bhakti, then overall, it becomes difficult. No? Therefore, that kind of combination is third class combination. First class combination is the husband and wife are on the same plane. Second class is when the wife is inferior to husband. Third class is when the wife is superior to husband.
Prabhu, how does it affect the progeny? That many times we hear that the child born will have some defect, something like this. So how the child is affected in such a case when woman is higher? Because today's people, they take it as injustice against women. I'm asking that.
It's got nothing to do with the caste system in India. It has got nothing to do with that. It is about actual guna karma. If a wife by guna karma is actually superior to the husband by guna karma, then that is third class. We are not going by just birth because they stopped following Jati Dharma. Jati Dharma means according to your guna karma, according to your, first of all, like let's say you're born in a Kshatriya family. Then you're given that training to be a Kshatriya and nothing lower than that. So these things are all gone now. Now everybody is trying to earn money, trying to live a happy life, earning money, earning reputation, that's all. So it is all gone to the dogs. It is all like Shudra only or lower. Okay, let's move on.
Prabhu, but I did not get answer that how it affects the child.
What I told you, first of all, this caste, it's already a big mess. If you go by caste, whether higher caste, lower caste, first of all, it's meaningless because they're all almost on the same status. So I don't understand what is the big problem with it. Anyway, it's a confusion. So a child is a product of the confusion. That's all. But that is not what I'm discussing. I'm talking about if the wife is actually superior by guna karma to the husband. Then, if you're asking what happens to the child will not be able to accept the authority of the father. And because the child doesn't accept the authority of the father, he or she will have certain types of material difficulties as they keep growing. That is why it's considered third class.
Okay, Prabhu.
10. Yada tu bhavatah shilas shrutar rupa vayo gunan ashtrunod naradadesha tvayi asit krita nishchaya. The moment she heard from the sage Narada of your noble character, learning, beautiful appearance, youth, and other virtues, she fixed her mind upon you. The girl Devahuti did not personally see Kardamuni, nor did she personally experience his character or qualities, since there was no social intercourse by which she could gain such understanding. But she heard about Kardamuni from the authority of Narada Muni. Hearing from an authority is a better experience than gaining personal understanding. She heard from Narada Muni that Kardamuni was just fit to be her husband. Therefore, she became fixed in her heart that she would marry him, and she expressed her desire to her father, who therefore brought her before him. So they already had fixed in their minds that we should get the girl married to Kardama Muni on the authority of Narada Muni. 11. Tat pratikshad dvijagriye mam shradhayopakhritam maya sarvatmananu rupam te griham medhishu karmasu. Therefore, please accept her, O chief of the Brahmanas, for I offer her with faith, and she is in every respect fit to be your wife and take charge of your household duties. The words Grihamedhishu Karmasu means in household duties. Another word is also used here, Sarvatmana Anurupam. The purport is that a wife should not only be equal to her husband in age, character, and qualities, but must be helpful to him in his household duties. The household duty of a man is not to satisfy his sense gratification, but to remain with the wife and children, and at the same time attain advancement in spiritual life. One who does not do so is not a householder, but a grihamedhi. Two words are used in Sanskrit literature. One is grihastha and the other is grihamedhi. The difference between grihamedhi and grihastha is that grihastha is also an ashrama or spiritual order. But if one simply satisfies his senses as a householder, then he is a grihamedhi. For a grihamedhi, to accept a wife means to satisfy the senses. But for a grihastha, a qualified wife is an assistant in every respect for advancement in spiritual activities. It is the duty of the wife to take charge of household affairs and not to compete with the husband. A wife is meant to help, but she cannot help her husband unless he is completely equal to her in age, character, and quality. Wait, let me. This is 11. Tat pradiksha. Yes. Hey Dujagriya, Brahmana Variya. I'm looking at the Anvaya here. Grihamedhishu, Grihastha Upayukteshu Karmasu. The translation also it says Grihashramastha. So it looks like the word Medhi has two senses. One is the sense in which we in ISKCON refer to Grihamedhis. One who is home-centered, one whose intelligence is only in home. But Grihamedhi also has another sense. Actually, this concept of being mindful in household activities is considered a good quality for being a grihastha. But when it harms one's spiritual advancement, then also that home is considered to be a harm for that soul who has gotten married. So that is another sense of the word Grihamedhi. That is the sense in which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur criticizes these people and calls them Grihavratas. Those who have taken a vow that they will forever be at home. They will never ever develop vairagya and get out of home. So when he criticizes the Grihamedhi, he is referring to the Grihavrata. That is because the word Medhas also has a sense of harm, himsaya. So the Grihamedhi who is harming his soul is whom we refer to as Grihamedhi. And that person whose mind is at home, but he's not harming his soul, we refer to him as a grihastha. In teaching, we have to use particular words. We have to have terminologies. Sometimes they need to be carefully defined. Okay, Dharmatma Prabhu.
Generally, it is said that the Greek yogis should not be involved in marriages, especially sannyasis. But we see that Narad Muni is suggesting in the last verse to Manu about the marriage of Kardama and Devhuti. So how?
No, Narada Muni did not suggest to Manu. Narada Muni suggested to Devahuti herself.
Yeah, I mean, Narad Muni told the qualities of heard from the novel character learning. Okay. See, he just told.
Of course, that raises the question even further. Why would he do something like that? My answer to that is Narada Muni was eager for Lord Kapila's birth.
Well,
Otherwise, why is it glorified in Bhagavatam? We should not try to do all these activities of Narada Muni and all these great souls. We should save ourselves. Atma, Sacha, Atma Pran ke Bacha. Okay, 12. उद्यतस्य हि कामस्य प्रतिवादो न शस्यते अपि निर्मुक्त संगस्य कामरक्तस्य किं पुनः. To deny an offering that has come of itself is not commendable, even for one absolutely free from all attachment, much less one addicted to sensual pleasure. न चाहं विरक्तः तपस्वी त्वत्कन्यां कथं स्वीकरोमि इति वाच्यम्. You should not say no. You should not say that I'm detached, I'm a tapasvi. How I can accept your daughter? So you should not say that I will not accept your daughter. How can I accept? Udyatasya swatah praptasya vishayasya tivadah pratyakhyana. To deny that which has come of itself. कामरक्तस्य इति तव अंतर्गतं कामं ज्ञात्वा एव अहम् इह अगच्छम्. I knew that within your heart you have this material desire, kama. Only after knowing this I have come here. Ataha mayi kamaha na aparaniya iti bhavaha. So therefore, you should not think that, and you should not just reject. You should not simply reject my idea that you do not have this and so on. In material life, everyone is desirous of sense gratification. As for a person who gets an object of sense gratification without endeavor should not refuse to accept it. Kardama Muni was not meant for sense gratification. Yet he aspired to marry and prayed to the Lord for a suitable wife. This was known to Swayambhava Manu. He indirectly convinced Kardama Muni, you desire a suitable wife like my daughter, and she is now present before you. You should not reject the fulfillment of your prayer. You should accept my daughter. 13. य उद्यतं मनादृत्य कीनाशम् अभियाचते क्षीयते तद्यशस्फीतं मानश्चाव्ययाहतः. One who यः उद्यतं नादृत्य कीनाशम् अभियाचते क्षीयते तत् यशः स्फीतं मानः च अवज्ञया हतः. One who rejects an offering that comes of its own accord, but later begs a boon from a miser, thus loses his widespread reputation, and his pride is humbled by the neglectful behavior of others. Okay, what question is this?
Prabhu, how did Manu Maharaj came to know that Lord appeared to Padma Muni and gave this benediction?
Narada Muni would have told him.
Okay.
Tatra vyavaharikim niti maha. Is this correct?
So tab got disconnected. I think something happened.
Prabhu, are you there or in Brahmacharyas?
I'm in Brahmacharya ashram.
Then you can't be of any help.
प्रभु चैट से भेजने से दिखेगा क्या?
देखिए मैं कॉल करने का प्रयास करूँ.
आ गए प्रभु.
Bro, whatever you spoke, we couldn't hear because your tab got disconnected.
My tab got disconnected. So what did you hear? Anything you heard?
Just you started reading Sararth Darshini, Tatra, you read and it got disconnected. That's all.
Okay. He then speaks a point of practical consideration. Anyone who's thinking of becoming a grihastha or even considering the possibility of that should be aware of all these things. There are considerations of reputation, losing that reputation, his pride being crushed because others neglect him, and so on. So these things are greatly magnified in the household ashrama. So he brings up these points also. Anadritya, pratishtha anurodha, lajjaya, pratyakhyaya, punah kripanam, adhataram api janam, tam eva kamam yachate. By first of all, out of embarrassment, rejecting something which has been provided, which has been something which is firmly decided upon, like a daughter, for example. He is firmly decided he wants to give his daughter to him. And out of embarrassment, I'm a tapasvi, I'm a virakta, I should not get into this. What will others think? Whatever he has in his head, he rejects it. And then afterwards, he goes to a miser. That means he goes to someone who does not want to give his daughter. And then he begs for that. Kamena eva achiradeva prabalyavata rajya pratishtayoho prasyamanatva vibhava. So that would be his situation because of his desire. Very quickly, he will have to face all these situations because he is being swallowed by embarrassment. His embarrassment is going. His great well-established situation is gone. Manasya hataha bhavati iti artha. His reputation gets destroyed. Tena parinamadharshina vidusha vartamanamapi vishesham swamanaha madhyavartina kamena agratah grasishyamanam anumaya prathamam eva daivada yachitah eva ayata anishiddha vishaya angikartavya eva iti dhvani. So he is hinting here that an intelligent person, a person in knowledge, who can understand how things happen, can understand cause and effect and how things happen. He should understand that in line with his material desire, he should accept right at the beginning, somehow by providence, without him going and begging from anyone for his daughter. He has got an arrangement which is not forbidden. So he should accept that. The general procedure of Vedic marriage is that a father offers his daughter to a suitable boy. That is very respectable marriage. These things are all very, 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 very important. Because later on, the wife will say, "You only came and begged my father. My father never wanted to give you." It is worse if you don't go to the father and go to the girl. You, for life, you have to listen to her. Because you only approached her. So she will remember that and remind you 25,000 times in your life. A boy should not go to the girl's father and ask for the hand of his daughter in marriage. That is considered to be humbling one's respectable position. Swayambhuva Manu wanted to convince Kadamani. Since he knew that the sage wanted to marry a suitable girl, I'm offering just such a suitable wife. Do not reject the offer, or else, because you are in need of a wife, you will have to ask for such a wife from someone else who may not behave with you so well. In that case, your position will be humbled. Another feature of this incident is that Swayambhu Manu was the emperor, but he wanted to offer his qualified daughter to a poor Brahmana. Kardava Muni had no worldly possessions. He was a hermit living in the forest, but he was advanced in culture. Therefore, in offering one's daughter to a person, the culture and quality are counted as prominent, not wealth or any other material consideration. So imagine that he rejects Swayambhuva's offer and he has to go and ask somebody else. And that somebody else will say, "But what are you? Are you as wealthy as me? Are you as handsome as..." I mean, hundreds of things they will bring up. So you may be a hero in one sphere, but here you're less than zero in another sphere. Yes.
So in purport of 11th verse, the last line, first Prabhupada is writing that duty of wife is not to compete with husband. And then again, he's writing that she cannot help her husband unless they both are completely equal in age, character, and quality. So one might ask that in one place it is said that she should be subordinate and again she should be equal.
Equal does not mean equal in all respects. It means being on the same platform. Even though they're on the same platform, that is the best savarna. Otherwise, anuloma. Husband is higher, wife is lower. But in certain other aspects, at least, they should be on the same platform. Samakaksha. They should be on the same platform. Otherwise, what they will do, because husband-wife relationship is there are so many different aspects to it. If they are not, if they say the husband is Kshatriya, the wife is Vaishya, by guna karma itself, I'm saying, by guna karma itself. And let's say the wife has no desire to upgrade her guna karma to that of a Kshatriya, which is generally very common, both for man and woman actually. Okay. So then you have a situation where she will always be thinking about money, 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 money. Kshatriya is always thinking of how to do good to the world, how to do good to the world, how to do good to the world. So at one point, the husband will find such a wife to be an embarrassment. Same thing, the wife will also find it very, very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Here the situation is, though he is a Brahmana, she is a Brahmana man, she is a Kshatriya woman. She has agreed to marry and come up to his standard. That we'll see. We'll see that how many austerities she does to come up to his standard of Vairagya Vidya Bhakti. That Swayambhu Manu also knows. See, so much of discussion takes place despite the fact that Narada Muni has said that she should be fit for him. They could have closed the topic now. They don't, because so many things need to be clear. That is why this discussion is taking place. Okay, let's move on. 14. Aham tva pranavam vidvan vivahartham samudyatam atastvam upaguru vanaha prattam pratigrihaname. Swayambhu continued, "O wise man, I heard that you were prepared to marry. Please accept her hand, which is being offered to you by me, since you have not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy. Nano manmanaha." Not like this. Nano manmano madhyavartinam kamam tvam kena lakshena agyasihi. Through what characteristic of mine have you understood that I have this desire in my heart? तत्र ज्ञानस्य का कथा श्रवणमपि मे जातम्. Anticipating that question, he says, what to speak of me knowing that I know from by hearing topics about you. He conveys that in the current verse. Aham tveti tvam ashranam iti shravanamidam spurti praptasya bhagavata eva mukhat iti avagantavya. Wow, Hare Krishna. Okay. Mukhat, not Mukhyat, as I suspected. Iti avagantavyam. I heard that you are prepared to marry. From whom did he hear? He heard from the Supreme Personality of Godhead who appeared to Swayambhu Manu. This must be understood. Yasya savadhi brahmacharyam sa upakurvanaha. And upakurvana is one who has accepted brahmacharya up to a particular point in time or up to a particular limit. He is not interested in limitless brahmacharya. He's put a limit. That person is an upakurvana. Prattam maya dattam. Please accept my daughter, whom I'm offering to you. The principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. There are two kinds of brahmacharis. One is called Naishtika brahmachari, which means one who takes a vow of celibacy for his whole life, whereas the other, the Upagurvana brahmachari, is a brahmachari who takes a vow of celibacy up to a certain age. This is very practical. It is very, very practical. Up to a certain age. For example, he may take the vow to remain celibate up to 25 years of age. Then, with the permission of a spiritual master, he enters married life. Brahmacharya is student life, the beginning of life in the spiritual orders. And the principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. Only a householder can indulge in sense gratification or sex life, not a brahmachari. Swayambhu Manu requested Kardama Muni to accept his daughter. Since Kardama had not taken the vow of Naishtika brahmacharya, he was willing to marry, and the suitable daughter of a high royal family was presented. So not only Narada Muni, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself had communicated to Swayambhu Manu. This is all divine marriage. 15. Rishiruvacha. Badham uddvodhu kamoham apratta cha tavatmaja avayor anuruposa vadyo vaivahiko vithihi. The great sage replied, certainly I have a desire to marry, and your daughter has not yet married or given her word to anyone. Therefore, our marriage, according to the Vedic system, can take place. So she is unmarried and she has not been promised to anyone also. Apratta kasmai chit na pratishruta. She has not been promised for anyone else. Adyaha tatah purvam vivaha abhavat. What is this? Okay, wait. What is the first number? This is Badham. Yes, this is Badham. This is the first type of wedding, and therefore it is the best. She is unmarried, is not yet married. Now, this word Adya has another connotation also, which Prabhupada brings up, I think. Yes. There were many considerations by Karzo Muni before accepting the daughter of Swayambhuma. Most important is that Devahuti had first of all fixed her mind on marrying him. She did not choose to have any other man as her husband. First love is life love, especially for women, for men also. But for women, it is very, very strong. That is a great consideration because female psychology dictates that when a woman offers her heart to a man for the first time, it is very difficult for her to take it back. Also, she had not married before. She was a virgin girl. She was not married before means she never engaged in any sexual activity. This is a very polite way of saying that. All these, of course, Kardamuni had also not engaged in any sexual activity. A virgin male is fit for a virgin female, not otherwise. He cannot, in India, artificially the man demands wife to be some big Sati Savitri, whereas he's just some average, I don't know how to say, it's just an ordinary, average, mediocre quality. Not like that. Also, she had not married before. She was a virgin girl. All these considerations convinced Karza Muni to accept her. Therefore, he said, yes, I shall accept your daughter under religious regulations of marriage. There are different kinds of marriages, of which the first class marriage is held by inviting a suitable bridegroom for the daughter and giving her in charity, well dressed and well decorated with ornaments, along with the dowry according to the means of the father. There are other kinds of marriage, such as Gandharva marriage and marriage by love, which are also accepted as marriage. Even if one is forcibly kidnapped and later on accepted as a wife, that is also accepted. But Kardama Muni accepted the first class way of marriage because the father was willing and the daughter was qualified. She had never offered her heart to anyone else. So the idea is that she's not going to leave him because she will stick. All these considerations made Karda Muni agree to accept the daughter of Swayambhuvam Manu. 16. Kamasya bhuyan naradevatesya putriya samamnaya vidhau pratitaha ka evate tanayam nadriyeta swayeva kantya kshipatim iva shriyam. Let your daughter's desire for marriage, which is recognized in the Vedic scriptures, be fulfilled. Who would not accept her hand? She is so beautiful that her bodily luster alone, that by her bodily luster alone, she excels the beauty of her ornaments. Yes.
Why this dowry system is there in marriages? Because of that, we see so many fightings between the families and even the murder.
The actual concept of dowry, we will see. Prabhupada will explain what it is. What is going on in today's India is some demoniac perversion. Okay. Asyaha kamaha bhuyad bhavatu. Let her desire be nicely fulfilled. Samyak amnaya ukta vivaha vidho prati. So, and this, the first type of wedding, that is recognized all over the Vedic scriptures. And then, anyway, he also quotes from a Rigvedic mantra. I mean, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, to say that this kind of accepting the hand of a proper girl in wedding who's been offered, that is accepted in Shruti itself. Swaya Angakantya eva Shriyam Bhushanadi Shobham. Her bodily luster alone brings about an exaltation beyond the beauty of her ornaments. Vardhamuni wanted to marry Devahuti in the recognized manner of marriage prescribed in the scriptures. As stated in the Vedic scriptures, the first class process is to call the bridegroom to the home of the bride and hand her to him in charity with the dowry of necessary ornaments, gold, furniture, and other household paraphernalia. This form of marriage is prevalent among higher class Hindus even today and is declared in the Shastras to confer great religious merit on the bride's father. To give a daughter in charity to a suitable son-in-law is considered to be one of the pious activities of a householder. There are 8 forms of marriage mentioned in the scripture Manusmriti, but only one process of marriage, Brahma or Rajasika marriage, is now current. Other kinds of marriage by love, by exchange of garlands, or by kidnapping the bride are now forbidden in this Kali age. Formerly, at their pleasure, Kshatriyas would kidnap a princess from another royal house, and there would be a fight between the Kshatriya and the girl's family. Then, if the kidnapper was the winner, the girl would be offered to him for marriage. Even Krishna married Rukmini by that process, and some of his sons and grandsons also married by kidnapping. Krishna's grandsons kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter, which caused a fight between the Kuru and Yadu families. Afterward, an adjustment was made by the elderly members of the Kuru family. Such marriages were current in bygone ages, but at the present moment they are impossible because the strict principles of Kshatriya life have practically been abolished. Since India has become dependent on foreign countries, the particular influences of our social orders have been lost. Now, according to the scriptures, everyone is a Shudra. The so-called Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas have forgotten the traditional activities of renunciation. And in the absence of these activities, they are called Shudras. It is said in the scriptures, Kalau Shudra Sambhava. In the age of Kali, everyone will be like Shudras. The traditional social customs are not followed in this age, although formerly they were followed strictly. So this dowry system is actually financial security for the bride. This is called Stridhana. Varadakshina is actually something else different from a Stridhana. Stridhana means it is financial security for the daughter. What if something happens and they lose all their money and they're in the street? So because the father gives some gold ornaments and different things for the daughter can save the situation. Now that Stridhana, that does not belong to her husband. The husband cannot touch that. Prabhupada talks about these things elsewhere. That is her own money for future. Because there, future there will be children, there will be so many things. They all need to be protected. Okay. Somapati Prabhu.
Oh, but husband is taking care, no, already. So why need to she have that money
It is
again?
like family life is unpredictable. Husband is taking care. What if the husband himself is killed? What if the husband is arrested? What if the husband is in some other place? He's gone for livelihood somewhere. At that time, some problem comes. So many hundreds of situations are there.
Okay. Unexpectedly he may die.
No, in that case, the daughter is meant to come back to father. But I'm saying that anything, or he may be in a death-like situation. So the woman needs to have her security. She cannot be in anxiety. Money is oxygen for women.
So for one more thing, so this husband, if he unexpectedly die, so that woman is allowed to get married again.
I've been told that a childless widow can remarry. I have been told that, but even that, even Prabhupada does not even say that. Prabhupada does not even say that. Okay.
Prabhu, one more question. In this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning we are dependent on foreign countries. India is dependent on foreign countries. So, can we independent? We cannot.
What can we? What?
Means we can sustain by not taking help from foreign countries.
So why we need to start thinking about all these things? What business we have about it? This is some India. India as a country, it has to work out whatever. We can maximum advise. That's all. Every place is best locally dependent. So in Vedic culture, it was like, and previously before Industrial Revolution, it was like that only. Every kingdom was trying to be self-sustaining. Self-sustenance is a very good, very useful concept, and in today's world, it is very much praised also. It is praised. That is a good idea. If not just India, every country becomes self-sufficient, it will be very nice.
No, just like Prabhu, now we are trying to implement this one ashram system. So it is very mandatory, to not depend on foreign countries.
Okay, so
then how we can do that?
first of all, they'll say that your ISKCON itself is depending, is not living locally. First of all, we have to prove that we can walk or talk. We have to prove that we are capable of doing what we tell others to do. Okay. There was another question.
Bro, it's little silly question. I'm sorry for that. In purport, the two Kshatriya parties, they are fighting. One who has kidnapped. If he wins, he gets the girl. But if he loses,
he loses his reputation. That's all.
But the girl is already touched by the boy, so they will marry him only.
See, there is party A and there is party B. A goes and kidnaps the girl that belongs to B's party. So now what are you saying?
Bro, I'm saying that there is consideration, no, that once a girl, if she is touched by another male, she cannot be married to someone else.
Yes.
No one will accept her.
Yes.
So if she is kidnapped, that means she is touched.
Yes.
So now,
Yes.
if the boy loses, is still he going to marry the same girl?
No, he loses means what?
Loses in fight.
Bro, there is one party A, party B. Party A is the boy who is kidnapping the girl of party B. So if party A loses, the boy loses from the.
Well, he's kidnapping, and on the way, party B wins over him and gets the girl back.
So the question is, the party has already touched the daughter of the girl, not daughter of the party B. So how he can take the girl back? Who will marry that girl? Because she has already been touched by party A.
So in Krishna book, that pastime comes now, where I think Samba only kidnaps Duryodhana's daughter, and then the Kauravas actually conquer Samba. But still, they think this thing where the girl has been touched. We need to get the girl married, but we should sufficiently humiliate Samba's family. So that's how they would think.
Okay, bro.
It comes in Krishna book. It comes. All right. 17. Yam harmya prishthe kunadangri shobham vikridatim kanduka vishpalakshim vishvavasurnya patat swadvimanad vilokya sammoha vimushat. I've heard that Vishwavasu, the great Gandharva, his mind stupefied with infatuation, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with a ball on the roof of the palace, for she was indeed beautiful with her tinkling ankle bells and her eyes moving to and fro. Kshipatim Shriyam. What is that? Iti Vyatireka Alankarena Tasya Saundarya Sadgunyadikam Nirupamam Mukta Swabhavikam Prabhavam Apyaha Yamit. Where is this Kshipati Mivashriyam? Oh, Kshipati Mivashri. Shriyam. Shriyam. Okay. Her beauty is more excellent than the beauty of her ornaments. He had stated that, which was an indirect way of saying how beautiful she is. Now, so which indicates that her beauty, her good features, they have no comparison. Now he talks about Devahuti's, this is Kardama, speaking about Devahuti's natural influence of her beauty. Yam iti punadbhyam anghibhyam shobha yasyastam vimanat nitaram bhumitale apatat vilokye sammoha iti tatrapi samyak chetanah mratakaha eva bhutva iti. He became stupefied. He became like a dead body. भावपूर्वक तद अवलोकन महा अपराध फलम सद्यः प्राप इति अर्थः. Because he saw with a desire, he looked at her. That was a very great offense. And great offenses, what is this?
Screen is not, sir.
Give me.
Yeah, we can hear, but the screen is not.
So, because he was looking at her, and that was such a great offense, he attained the result immediately. You know, vilokya iti ktva pratyayoktehe vishvavasuna sa drishta eva. So Vishwavasu saw her. Okay, it is understood, but I think something is missing here. Just 1 minute. Okay. No, it's okay. It is understood that not only at the present moment, but in those days also, there were skyscrapers. Herein we find the word Harmya Prishthe. Harmya means a very big palatial building. Swavimanat means from his own airplane. It is suggested that private airplanes or helicopters were also current in those days. The Gandharva Vishwavasu, while flying in the sky, could see Devahuti playing ball on the roof of the palace. Ball playing was also current, but aristocratic girls would not play in a public place. This was there even in Europe up to a few centuries back. Ball playing and other such pleasures were not meant for ordinary women and girls. Only princesses like Devahuti could indulge in such sports. It is described here that she was seen from the flying airplane. This indicates that the palace was very high. Otherwise, how could one see her from an airplane? The vision was so distinct that the Gandharva Vishwavasu was bewildered by her beauty, and by hearing the sound of her ankle bangles and being captivated by the sound and beauty, he fell down. So it must have been so high, the building must have been so, the skyscraper would have been so high that he was able to hear the sounds of her bangles. Narada Muni mentioned the incident as he had heard it. Okay.
Prabhu, two questions are there. One is, where exactly Manu Maharaj is living?
Where he was living,
Yes, Prabhuji.
that I don't remember now, but Bindu Sarovar is said to be somewhere in Gujarat. That much I know. Where he was living, I thought it was in somewhere in central India at that time, whatever that region was named.
Manu Maharaj in India.
The place corresponding to the central India at that time.
Means it was earthly planet only.
It looks like.
Okay. And Prabhu, second question is, in this purport, Prabhupada is saying about ball playing. So, was it so exclusive that common women could not? Means, I don't find anything difficult that why common women cannot indulge in playing with ball.
Not in public.
Only,
Not in public. Not in public. That is the idea.
okay, so they were not having palaces and roofs. That's why they could not play. And here, princesses, they have.
Arrangement that the higher class. First of all, you don't deserve to relish their beauty and all that. So why? Why? So princesses, and they have their zone. They have their zone. Even now, you cannot go to some big like businessmen and all. They have their own. I heard one of these big shots. He's got some building which is some 70 floors high or something, and one floor is just some sports floor or something. These things appear to be there even in India. What to speak of in the West? Any XYZ, if he wants to see, no, I want to go and see how the women there are playing. What the hell are you? Why?
Mhm. Yes,
It is
sir.
all over the world. It's all over the world. It's not just. 18. तां प्रार्थयन्तीं ललनाललामं असेवितश्रीचरणैरदृष्टां वत्सां मनोरुच्य पदस्वसारं को नानुमन्येत बुधोभियाताम्. What wise man would not welcome her, the very ornament of womanhood, the beloved daughter of Swayambhu Manu and sister of Uttanapada? Those who have not worshipped the gracious feet of the goddess of fortune cannot even perceive her, yet she has come of her own accord to seek my hand. Tatra nahi nahi ityaha. Looks like something has been cut off in this commentary. Asevita Shri.
The same thing is written here also in Bhakti-siddhanta Thakur's edition also.
Still, I think that something has been cut off. Because then, where is what is this referring to? Nahi nahi iti. See, that's why all this requires manuscript level research. Asevita Shri Charanaihi Janaihi Adrishtam Madhavishtadev Sriman Narayana Kantayaha Charanam Maya Eva Sevitau Ataha Mamaeva Sadrishya Bhavet Na Anyesham Kesham Apiti Bhava. I have served the lotus feet of the beloved wife of Sriman Narayana, my worshipable deity. Therefore, she should become my wife and no one else. That is the idea with which people have tried to marry her. Tena cha akashacharina tasyah kantireva vishwavasuna vilokita matusa ityayatam. So from this it is understood that Vishwavasu was traveling in the skies. He only saw her splendor. She did not see him. Abhijatepi utkarshamaha. And her nobility is also exalted. Abhijatya. Must be Abhijatya, correct. Abhijatya. Abhijatya. Utkarshama. Abhijatya means noble birth. Manos Tavavatsam. Vatsalya Patrin Kanya. She's the beloved daughter of Swayambhu Manu. Like a calf, like you have so much affection for a calf, like that. Uchchapadaha, Uttana Padasya, Priyavratasya, Tada, Virajya, Gatavan, na ullekhaha. Gatavad, na ullekhaha. Oh, okay. So it looks like Priyavrata had gone for his practices of renunciation. Priyavrata had gone for renunciation. We will see this later on. So at that time it was Uttanapada who was there. Therefore, there's no mention of Priyavrata here. Tatrapi abhiyatam swayam praptam. At the same time, she had come by herself. She herself has come to me. Garzamuni praised the beauty and qualification of Devahuti in different ways. Devahuti was actually the ornament of all ornamented beautiful. A girl becomes beautiful by putting ornaments on her body, but Devahuti was more beautiful than the ornaments. She was considered the ornament of the ornamented beautiful girls. Demigods and Gandharvas were attracted by her beauty. Kardamamuni, which itself is a big surprise. Gandharvas are attracted by the beauty of Apsaras. But she is Manavi, she is daughter of Manu. Still they were attracted to her. That means she was extraordinarily pious. Gandharvas. What to speak of Gandharvas? Demigods themselves were attracted. Demigods are far superior to Gandharvas in every manner. Even they were attracted by her beauty. Kardamamuni, although a great sage, was not a denizen of the heavenly planets. But it is mentioned in the previous verse that Vishwavasu, who came from heaven, was also attracted by the beauty of Devahuti. Besides her personal beauty, she was the daughter of Emperor Swayambhuva and sister of King Tanapada. Who could refuse the hand of such a girl? 19. Ato bhajishye samayena sadhvim yavat tejo vibhriyat atmano me. Ato dharman parama hamsya mukhya shukla proktan bahumanye vihimsran. Therefore, I shall accept this chaste girl as my wife on the condition that after she bears semen from my body, I shall accept the life of devotional service, accepted by the most perfect human beings. That process was described by Lord Vishnu. It is free from envy. So much he is attracted to her and all that, but only up to the end of family life. That's all. Only that. Only that much, not more than that. Samayena iti, on the condition yavat apatyotpattihi tavat garhasyam tatah param sannyasa iti bhasha bandhamaya samaya. So this is the condition. As long as soon as she gives birth to children, I will leave my garhasti, I will leave my home and I will take sannyas. So this is a verbal condition. Yadva, alternate meaning. Yavat mama atmaha dehat chutam tejaha vibhriyat tavat bhajishye. Tatrapi samayena mama tapah shesha samaptyanantaram yat yada avakasham labsye tadaivetyasaha. I will take care of her until my prowess enters into her, as long as she can hold to my prowess. Even at that time, at the right time, when I get the opportunity for that, only at that time I will release my semen. So it is understood that I will do that at the end of my tapas. Because he would have taken a vow that just like we have certain vows, we say chant this many rounds, like this, we offer this many obeisances, like this. So like that, he would have taken a vow. This is my austerity in service to Lord Vishnu. This is Satya Yoga meditation. So only when that vow is completed, only then I will get into this. Atra mama atmanaha mat priya ishta devasya tejaha kapil devakyam iti vastu artaha cha gyeyaha. So here, until she bears my prowess, that has a very interesting meaning. Mat atmanaha means refers to the Supreme Lord Himself, who is very dear to me, as He is my worshipable deity. He is my very self in affection, and He is known as Lord Kapila Deva. As soon as He is conceived and born, Atahanantaram Paramahamsyeshu Mukhyan, then I will accept the process that is accepted by the best of the Paramahamsas. The best of the Paramahamsas, because there are also, see, there are Jnani Paramahamsas, Yogi Paramahamsas, and Bhakta Paramahamsas. The best of the Paramahamsas are the Bhakta Paramahamsas, those who want to attain Bhagavan realization. Yadva Paramahamsya Jnanadapi Mukhyan Nishparigraha Bhakti Rupan Shuklena Vishwana Sakshat Prakarshena Uktan. I will follow those duties which have been stated by Lord Shukla Vishnu. And this is bhakti to him outside of family life. These are the prime activities. And this is superior to even the process of jnana adopted by the Paramahamsas. Avihimsran, himsa rahitan, bahu yathasyad eva manushtheyan mani. There are so many things to do. Those duties are free from violence. And I will execute it to the best of my ability. Narada Muni expressed his desire for a very beautiful wife to Emperor Swayambhu and accepted the emperor's daughter for marriage. Narada Muni was in the hermitage practicing complete celibacy as a brahmachari. And although he had the desire to marry, he did not want to be a householder for the whole span of his life because he was conversant with the Vedic principles of human life. According to Vedic principles, the first part of life should be utilized in brahmacharya for the development of character and spiritual qualities. In the next part of life, one may accept a wife and beget children, but one should not beget children like cats and dogs. Narada Muni desired to beget a child who would be a ray of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should beget a child who can perform the duties of Vishnu. Otherwise, there is no need to produce children. There are two kinds of children born of good fathers. One is educated in Krishna consciousness so that he can be delivered from the clutches of Maya in that very life. And the other is a ray of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and teaches the world the ultimate goal of life. As will be described in a later chapter, Narada Muni begot such a child, Kapila, incarnation of the Personality of Godhead, who enunciated the philosophy of Sankhya. Great householders pray to God to send his representatives so that there may be an auspicious movement in human society. This is one reason to beget a child. Another reason is that a highly enlightened parent can train a child in Krishna consciousness so that the child will not have to come back again to this miserable world. Parents should see to it that the child born of them does not enter the womb of a mother again. Unless one can train a child for liberation in that life, there is no need to marry or produce children. If human society produces children like cats and dogs for the disturbance of social order, then the world becomes hellish, as it has in this age of Kali. In this age, neither parents nor their children are trained. Both are animalistic and simply eat, sleep, mate, defend, and gratify their senses. This disorder in social life cannot bring peace to human society. Narada Muni explains beforehand that he would not associate with the girl Devahuti for the whole duration of his life. He would simply associate with her until she had a child. In other words, sex life should be utilized only to produce a nice child, not for any other purpose. Human life is especially meant for complete devotion to the service of the Lord. That is the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya. After fulfilling his responsibility to produce a nice child, one should take sannyas and engage in the perfectional Paramahamsa stage. Paramahamsa refers to the most highly elevated perfectional stage of life. There are 4 stages within sannyas life, and Paramahamsa is the highest order. The Srimad Bhagavatam is called the Paramahamsa Samhita, the treatise for the highest class of human beings. The Paramahamsa is free from envy. In other stages, even in the householder stage of life, there is competition and envy. But since the activities of the human being in the Paramahamsa stage are completely engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service, there is no scope for envy. In the same order as Kartava Muni, about 100 years ago, Thakur Bhaktivinoda also wanted to beget a child who could preach the philosophy and teachings of Lord Chaitanya to the fullest extent. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur could not preach it to the fullest extent. He had to first of all point out that you should not touch adharma. Therefore, he was leading the life of a saintly householder, just to teach it is better to be a dharmic grihastha Vaishnava than to be an adharmic non-grihastha Vaishnava. But still, he knew what is required for Lord Chaitanya's mission, and therefore he prayed to Lord Chaitanya, please send a child. That is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is compared by Prabhupada and other disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is compared to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas Bhaktivinoda Thakur is compared to Advaita Acharya. It says Advaita Acharya prayed for the Lord to come, and then the Lord himself appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like that, what Bhaktivinoda could not preach, that he wanted somebody to be preaching, and that is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. By his prayers to the Lord, he had as his child Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, who at the present moment is preaching the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya throughout the entire world through his bona fide disciples. All right, so we'll stop with that. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.